it's hard to know where to even begin discussing Up. This is such a beloved film for so many people, myself included. I absolutely adore it. And I think the first thing I want to address is that it's a Pixar film, but I love it. If you are familiar with my opinions about Pixar, you'll be aware that I love a lot of Pixar films, but there are also some that I think are very weak links that a lot of people really love. Things like WALL-E, I don't get the appeal of it at all. And there are a lot of Pixar films like that. But this is really refreshing because I absolutely loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The film was released in 2009, if you can believe that. That seems quite insane. Directed by Pete Docter and Bob Peterson. And we have a pretty great voice cast. Christopher Plummer and Jordan, is it Nagai? I apologise if I've mispronounced it. We also have Edward Asner as Carl Fredricksen and John Ratzenberger as construction foreman Tom. When I watched this, I was not aware of who John Ratzenberger was. I am now a die-hard Cheers addict, so that's something that I can then enjoy when I watch the film again. It is the narrative, though, that makes this beautiful. And I think there's the reason the film... Well, there are many reasons why this film is very successful, but I think there is one reason why this film becomes not just a great film, but a fantastic film. And I won't go into too much detail about what that is, but it's the flashback sequence. When Fredricksen goes down memory lane, it's that sequence, and you'll know exactly which sequence I mean if you've seen the film. And that's just ridiculously emotional and made this a beautiful film. So the description from IMDb is as follows. 78-year-old Carl Fredricksen travels to Paradise Falls in his house equipped with balloons, inadvertently taking a young stowaway. So Carl Fredricksen is an elderly, widowed man, and he goes off to Paradise Falls in his house that does fly because of these balloons. I mean, such an incredible concept. It's so fantastical, but it's so beautiful. And Russell ends up going along with him, as well as Doug the dog, who is one of my favourite Disney dogs. And it's very odd that one of my favourite Disney dogs would be a Pixar dog. So that just kind of suggests to me how fabulous this character actually is. So the narrative itself is lovely. I normally do not like kind of journey-based films, road trip kind of films. Sky trip, I guess, is more accurate in this case. But it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenally funny as well, which I wasn't expecting, and I never expect that from a Pixar film. But it is ridiculously entertaining, and I'm not going to spoil anything about the narrative or about the things they encounter on their journey. But it's brilliant. And the relationship between Carl Fredricksen and Russell is so beautiful. Fredricksen kind of reminds me of Marty Crane in a way, and I think maybe that's partly influenced by the fact that he has a cane that's fantastically designed with little tennis balls on the end of it. But he does kind of have that kind of, he's lovable and likeable, but a little bit grumpy. Does he really want Russell there with him? Russell's obviously got this high energy that's a very strong contrast, and the coupling works so well. I love the visual design of both of the characters. Fredricksen looks fantastic. Russell is amazing. The design of his costumes, a Boy Scout costume or Cubs? I don't know. It's an American thing. I'm sure you can correct me if it's not Boy Scouts. But I just think the design of it is amazing, and he looks incredible, and there's just... there's nothing about this that doesn't work for me. And for a Pixar film, I'm getting quite emotional. I never thought it would affect me that way. It's beautiful. I'm getting emotional not just because the story itself is very emotive and very moving, but because it's such a beautiful piece of cinema that just as a film fan, I watch this and go, I am proud, so proud to be a film fan. I can't even imagine what the team who created this feel like. I'm genuinely welling up. It's amazing. And it's got 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which is ridiculous. You know, that's an incredible score. if for whatever reason you haven't watched it because you're maybe not a big Pixar fan, forget that it's Pixar. Just absolutely forget that, because it is beautiful. It is moving. It is poignant. It's everything. And one of the best things Disney has created, I was going to say this century, but forget that. Ever. One of the best things Disney has ever done.